everybody, what's up? This is a Fairly Awesome Podcast. I'm your host this week, Nate Bushing, and I'm joined by Ryan McDowell.
Hello.
Chris Keene.
Hello.
And Josh Bushing.
What up?
This is podcast number 21.
Yeah.
Which means
21.
this podcast is now legally able to drink. Which is what we're all doing right now, right?
Yes, we're all drinking liquid.
Tastes delicious, like liberty.
Tastes like freedom.
Freedom.
Oh,
In
man.
a bottle.
It feels like it's been a while, you guys. I know it's only been 2 weeks.
Like 2 weeks.
Yeah, but you were out of the last one, so it would feel longer for you.
Yes. Maybe that's what it was. No, it was before that.
No, it was before that.
I was here
It was
last
the last
time,
one.
right?
Yeah, because you guys were fighting over the worst host ever belt.
Oh.
Really?
Billy, the challenge has been thrown.
Okay, I have to give it up. I don't know.
Well, really, after the horribleness that occurred prior to us turning the mic on, I think we can just blame it all on Nate. The general odor of the room.
Well, we already really
All
know
Nate's fault.
that I usually take the worst host belt, but this week I'm gonna take it back.
Take it by the horns.
Take it by the horns, and I will ride that bull all the way down, with a myriad of topics. So this week we're gonna be talking about a couple things. We've got piracy on the agenda. Mm-hmm. We've got a little thing about game movies, which usually suck. And what we're gonna start with is
It's GAME movies.
yes, game movies. Game.
Just to clarify.
Movies.
Which also generally suck.
Oh, you are bringing it early, sir. Bringing it early. But first,
Brand.
we're going to start with a little thing I'd like to call multiplayer buy-in. So what I mean by that is console developers, game developers, all your developers are creating multiplayer games. You stop it, you.
I'm sorry.
Host. Are creating games these days, and
Okay.
not those kind of games. Yes, let's cut that out. All right, and developers are creating multiplayer games that usually are trying to bring in new players. You son of a bitch. Bet too many.
Apparently, Josh's gas is
I'm gonna
burning his
vomit.
brother's
I'm gonna vomit. That is horrible. Fucking Hungarian gas mask over here.
You've been banished, sir.
Okay, so developers are looking for new ways to create multiplayer games that will bring in new players, right? So usually, if you start in a game and you're like, man, I really want to play some of this Battlefield, and you hop in and you just get slaughtered, your incentive to keep playing that game is usually cut or dashed, and I think what would you do, Ryan, since you're a developer now, what would you do to create a game to make me play it and not quit after the first 20 minutes when a 13-year-old slaughters me and is like, sorry noob, you suck at this game, just quit life? I don't know why he changed in the middle there, because he's 13 and he's going through puberty.
I would say that taking unique approaches. So like we saw Titanfall take a pretty I don't know if it's really unique, but it was unique when it came out, that it wasn't just another Call of Duty or another Battlefield. Like it was like a weird breed between Call of Duty and, let's say, MechWarrior, And because the mechanics were, so fast, it really changed the game. It wasn't just a repeat of a Call of Duty. So it made people want to get in and try it, and it sort of, even if they were getting owned early, they thought, okay, well, this is new. This isn't just what it's going to be the whole time. I'm going to learn the new mechanic, and I might have a leg up here. Mm-hmm. So I think unique mechanics are something that helps games get a buy-in. Although there are some games that just throw you to the wolves right away, like
PlanetSide 2.
Well, like Assassin's Creed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where, when they introduced multiplayer, you were sitting there and running around, and it was just like there was no hiding there was no hiding and killing. It was just like everybody was running and stabbing.
Right.
You know what I mean? And to me, that they didn't do multiplayer right.
Yeah.
You know, and
Well, like that one, like Assassin's Creed, they tried to incentivize not like running and killing, but really at the point that you're playing a bunch of other people that are doing the exact same thing, yeah, you're running around waiting for the person you're following or the person next to you to get targeted as your assignment, and then you kill them. So there's not, there's a little bit of, walking around trying to be sneaky, and you see that a little more in the, no, most of the game types, yeah. I thought there was one, but no, most of the game types, yeah, it's pretty much running. Like you get it a little bit, I guess, in the capture the flag. I think it's like artifact assault. You get that a little bit, mostly trying to get to the artifact. I mean, once you get it, you're running your ass off. There's no hiding. You pretty much are finding the best route back to your base and booking it.
yeah,
But getting there, you can kind of try and work your way through the crowd and make sure you don't get seen and stuff like that. So yeah, that kind of falls apart. I think what Titanfall did right, that made their multiplayer so much better, was they took numbers out of it. Like a lot of times in multiplayer, if you've got a really good team, it doesn't matter what the way you play it, you're going to win because the other teams are so terrible.
Yep.
With Titanfall, even if you've got a good team, if the other team is, say, not bad but not great, they can still come out on top because there's always the Titan that they can drop into and wipe your team out, or if they do a better job.
Kill the minions, right?
Yeah, or take over the minions. Like especially in the ticket game, yeah. If they do nothing but hunt minions, they still count as kills. So I mean, if they stay well hid, as long as they're taking out enough minions, they will still
contribute
come out on
enough,
top.
right?
Right.
I would say Titanfall does something right with the death penalty too. It's like it's instant. You're like almost right back in within like 3 or 4 seconds after you die. I mean, you just watch the kill cam for a little bit, and you can even skip that and then get right back in.
Yeah.
Like some of the games in the past, it's always been 30 seconds of watching the other guy that just killed you, and you just fume, and you're just, oh, why?
Yeah, and then I guess it's hard to kind of get back into the groove of a fast-paced game if you've had to sit out for the last 15 to 30 seconds.
Yeah, and then if you get killed right away, that's just
even more irritating.
Yeah, that's box off. I'm done. Yeah.
So, I guess one of the things I would suggest for games that could potentially have newbie turn-off moments, I would structure the multiplayer so that it starts out co-op. You know what I mean? Like, you're working with other people, but it's either against bots or it's against something, but you kind of understand how everything is working, and you're starting to get those first weapons, you're starting to get whatever, and then the end game starts to put you against other people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that's how that should work. And to be honest, like once you get to your highest level, let's take Halo as an interesting example. If it was possible, because the matchmaking was so terrible, for you to be, I don't know, level whatever, but against a team of all generals, level 50s. That's terrible, right? That is terrible game
Nobody
design.
likes being steamrolled like that.
What they should do, because those 50s, even if you only got one, they would outperform the others generally 2-1 or something like that. They would count for, a large portion of that. What I think would be interesting is if in training, so say the co-op side, you'd be against, like every so often the generals would get that as a game type where they're down a man, or they're down 2 or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? 2 generals versus 4 newbies, and learning how to take that out.
Yep.
I think that's one thing that could help it, but definitely got to use a unique design. There's only so much. The other thing that I think turns off some people is if the perk system or the whatever that is, if that gets too ridiculous, it almost turns people off in that, I'm only going to play this game for, let's say, 4 months or 5 months or whatever, unless it's like your staple game.
Yeah.
You're not going to put in thousands and thousands of hours to get those top perks. So as soon as you see those show up, you're like, well,
I'm out. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Pisses you off a little bit that you got to have such a huge amount of sunk time to get that.
Or if they show up as available to buy, and you're like, oh, good, everybody can buy their way to way better weapons than what you're going to get playing through the game.
Right.
In the past, I would have said balance was really important, but then there's a game coming out, Evolve. One of the the Left 4 Dead creators are making this, and it's 4 versus 1, and the monster being that one. So it's like it's a 5-person game, but it's like kind of in balance because you got 4 players against one other player, but he's got different unique powers. So it's like it's kind of, you have to use your creativity a little bit and imagination in order to come up with ways to.
I think that's going to be interesting, honestly.
Yeah.
And I think there's other ways you can play that as well. It can be 4-on-2,
Yeah.
but they're not as powerful as that.
I think so.
Big
Yeah.
Yep.
Goliath or whatever it's called.
Yep. I think it's that things like that are kind of pushing the boundaries, because in the past, we've fallen into this kind of Call of Duty method, and Battlefield has sort of absorbed that too with the perk system and some of that fast jump in, and Titanfall, I think, has perfected that method, by having less unlocks. They have a decent amount, but not a lot.
There's only so many weapons.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
A lot less than like Battlefield or Call
Yeah.
of Duty, which are the popular ones.
Right.
Halo hasn't really ever had that kind of an unlock system other than armor. Like,
Yeah,
it's all been
and the armor
cosmetic.
didn't really do anything
No.
for you.
Yeah.
And I kind of wish that it did.
Actually,
a little bit.
Did Halo 4 add that? I can't remember. I didn't play enough multiplayer in Halo 4 to remember if they had armor, but I don't remember if it made a difference.
It said it did things, but I don't think it
I
actually
don't know if it
did.
did or not.
I
know there were different armor classes that were supposed to be specialized for certain things, but I don't know if they actually had any impact on your
weapons,
like
and-
shield ability or your invisibility or your ability or whatever.
Yeah.
I guess my thing would be, and it's softened a little bit, but like you said, balance. But in like as far as like the prestige levels go, in terms of balance, Titanfall has a generational thing where after you get level 50, you can generation up to the next level, and it basically wipes you back to nothing. But it shows that you've gone through at least one level 50, and for each generation, you go back to level 50. Same
It's
thing.
true, yeah.
But you also don't get a perk for that. You know what I mean?
Right,
It
there's no boost for it. It's just
actually really wipes you back. To
well,
that.
you get an
You get to
XP
keep your,
boost.
and you keep your burn cards.
but
Yeah,
nothing that gives you an advantage
Right.
over somebody
No
else.
advantage over anybody other than I guess if you wanted to call the XP boost an advantage because you will get your weapon unlocks a little bit faster.
In any given game, though, you won't have an advantage over somebody else.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Initially, I said it was really kind of lame that you would end up in like being a sub first generation. You would end up in a game with like Gen 5s and 6s when they first started showing up. You would see people that were way ahead of you, and you're like, I'm gonna get slaughtered, because what it was doing is it was matching on your base level. So if you were 35, you'd get matched up with a 35 Gen 4 or 35 Gen 5 because they were still level 35.
Right.
So initially I was like, well, that's kind of crap. But thinking more about it, it is not quite so bad, at least the way Titanfall does it. I don't know if Call of Duty does something similar.
You get perks for each generation, so it kind of sets you even further back.
Yeah.
I mean, they do start over, but you get perks.
If I remember correctly, with Assassin's Creed, you unlocked like crafting abilities as you went up in prestige levels.
Right.
So it did give you the ability. It gave you the ability to be better than other people at that same level, and still matched you up with people that were prestige level at the same level that you were. But with Titanfall, I mean, you both had roughly the same weapons, the same loadouts, so no advantage there. And because of the way the XP system worked, they may have just gotten there on their own, just from playing. It's not necessarily that they were so great that they got to, gen level 2 or 3. They play enough, they got to gen level 2 or 3, because you'd get in there with them and slaughter them anyway.
Yeah.
So, even though these people were 5 and 6 generations ahead of you, you still, were better than they were. It was just, they just had played more than you. So really, I mean, in that case, Titanfall did that right. It's more of a, look how long I've been playing, look how cool I am, and introduces some, here's an extra challenge when you're playing through this generation to see if you can get, versus, hey, you've been playing this long, here's a perk, plus we're totally going to go ahead and match you up with people that haven't been playing nearly as long as you have,
So
don't
you
have
can
the same
slaughter
procedures,
them.
so you can slaughter
Yeah,
them,
exactly.
and they'll hate the game.
Yep.
So I think Titanfall's done a better job of that, but that's something they need to watch out for in multiplayer, because people get really turned on real fast when, you're level 5 or 6 and you jump in, and like Ryan was saying, you were, one of the privates or like a low-level ranking character, and you jump in and it's all generals, and
they just slaughter you.
yeah, especially in Halo. Halo is small team enough that you were done for. Because
Yeah.
they were all, chances are they were all working together, that they were all probably on TeamSpeak, or not TeamSpeak, but they were all on
Like a
Yeah,
private
Xbox
party
private
chat.
party chat.
Party chat, yeah.
Which is something I'd also kind of like to see is if it was going to balance that way, like, don't be afraid to take people out of teams. I mean, yes, all 5 of these people joined together. Yes, they've been playing on the same team. But you kind of need to do a better job of balancing. Take 2 or 3 of them and shove them onto the other team.
People
kick them
hate
out of
that.
Yeah, they probably wouldn't like it,
Yeah.
but it would make it suck a lot less and would kind of give them a challenge playing against their own people that they usually play with the entire time. So it might actually be more of a challenge to play against the people that you're constantly playing with.
And Battlefield did that a little bit, where you would join as a team, like in Battlefield 3, you
Right,
would join
kinda
as a
kick you over
squad,
to
and it would
the
like
other
kind of
side.
kick you on just so you could get on and start playing.
Maybe they could do something where they have like different hoppers. Like one is a balance hopper and one is like a play with your friends hopper.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not so bad. I mean, in games where you can't, you don't know everybody. Like if it was 4-on-4 and it was 8 friends all playing together, who cares? Balance it however it needs to be. If it's 6 of you and 2 people that you can't talk to,
Yeah.
that sucks. You know what I mean? But maybe that's what they need to do.
Yeah. What do you think, Josh?
Well, I don't know. I had issues with like PlanetSide 2 when I first started.
Mm-hmm.
There was like zero. There was no like tutorial or anything. It was like, click a bunch of things and all of a sudden just you're in. And then like the first thing I did when I got there, I got shot. I got killed. It was like instantaneous. And I was
Because it
like,
dropped you in on like a combat
yeah, in a
zone.
combat area where like other people knew like where I was at for some reason. You could like see my trajectory coming down from this little drop ship, and I was just like, why did it dump me here? Why didn't it just start me in a start zone so I could at least kind of get used to it? But no, it dropped me right in the middle of the combat, right in the middle of this area, and I got killed instantaneously. And that right there set the precedent. I have zero desire to continue playing the game.
Yeah.
I'm not joking. I think I probably played another 20 minutes after that. That was it. That was done. Like if that's the way that the game decides that you're just gonna, throw you in, sink or swim, well, I sunk. Sorry. But I usually have more patience when it comes to that kind of thing. But after a while, you're just like, there are other games that'll give me a better opportunity than that.
Yeah.
Sink or swim's probably not bad if you get in right at the beginning when everybody's sinking or
I think
swimming.
that's the problem.
But yeah,
is
if you
that
join late,
if you come in
screw
late,
that.
there's zero desire at that point to try to make up the time, because you're not going to make up the time.
Yeah.
These people are probably playing the same long. That's why going back and maybe playing Halo 3 multiplayer. These people that are playing still today are like the diehard zealots that love it so much, and if you're starting at the bottom of the rung,
Screwed.
yeah. So, Titanfall almost did that to me. A little bit. Like, it was hard for me to get... But I wasn't playing with anybody. So it was hard for me to get acclimated to playing that game alone. And I was just like, alright, well, I'm just going to keep going because I know we're going to eventually play together.
Yeah.
And I finally got it. And then I enjoyed it so much that I enjoyed being, playing on my own, because then I could go do whatever I wanted to do and not worry about certain things. And if you played attrition, you don't have to worry about objective points where you don't have to take bases or anything. You just go and you just kill everything, which is
Yeah.
nice. So
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of a ramp up on any multiplayer game, and I think devs have to kind of walk that tight balance rope there. But speaking of games, but we're going to change the gears a little bit, not Gears of War. There's a lot of movies that come out based on games that just so happen to suck. Why is that, Ryan? Why did they suck?
I can tell you.
I want you to
I can
explain
tell you
right now.
2 words will explain why game movies suck. Uwe Boll. That dude is a terrible director, and all he does is make video game movies.
And then
Give
fight
it all
people.
money.
And fight people in the boxing ring.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
They are, and this topic actually was brought up by Hat Malum, and where he was
God rest his soul.
Yeah, he was talking to us about it, and he was saying, what why is that? Why did Mario Brothers have to suck so hard, and why did Mortal Kombat, and why did Street Fighter, and why are there so many of these, and like so few, if any, that you can really call good? There are a couple that are passable.
I would say the Resident Evils.
Resident Evil games are pretty good, yeah.
Or
Couple,
movies, yeah.
couple, like the first ones.
First couple
Yeah.
were pretty good.
Right.
Yeah, the last
And
one
then-
kind of put it.
and then
And so the last one.
you know, there's like Tomb Raiders. Those are, I would say, passable.
Yeah.
You know, but there's so many that are terrible. So many movies that are terrible. Why is it that they can be such a commercial success on a console when you're playing it, but not such a huge success in the box office?
Yeah. For me, I would imagine that it has to do with the budget too, and who they hand this to. You know, they give the scripts to the lowest common denominator. They're like, oh, this they already have like a setup for failure or expectations set so low that they're like, well, this is just somebody's agenda at the studio. Let's just not throw it to the
You
wolves.
know what though? I think their problem is that a lot of them, like they'll give them to a Hollywood scriptwriter versus somebody who writes the stories for the games.
Oh, that's true.
Two different types of writers that have two different types of like how do we mesh this to have player control and whatnot. Instead of it being like a choose your own adventure, they've got to pencil in everything.
Yeah.
But these are the guys that get paid for it. But you're right; they go to those lowest common denominators. Maybe somebody who maybe doesn't have any sort of fan desire whatsoever to see it because they're not gamers.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, we'll just kind of doctor it or pepper it with some fan service here or there, and you'll have things like whatever. I don't know. It gets bad.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and go out and opposite here and say that these movies aren't all that bad. They had bad parts.
Super Mario
Mario Brothers not that bad.
I kind of like
Not that
Super
bad.
Mario.
It's pretty good.
Brothers.
No, what is wrong
No,
with
see,
that?
you're looking back at nostalgia and you're like, that movie was actually fairly decent. Now you're like, that movie was probably terrible. Because look at the terrible graphics and all that sorts of shit. It did have flaws. I'll admit that. It had problems.
Dennis Hopper?
Dennis Hopper wasn't terrible, but the way they tried to throw him in there as Koopa was a little rough.
I liked his hair.
Here's the issue.
It's fantastic.
Here's the issue. Super Mario Brothers. The general story of that game: guy hunts for princess, kills dinosaur.
Yeah.
Hey, let's make a movie. Guy searching for princess, kills dinosaur. Oh, we did it.
Yeah.
It matched the game exactly. Did you want Mario to try and swim through some level at some point, or
Didn't
run
they swim in
through?
that?
No. It was just a bad premise. It wasn't, where's my good Super Mario Brothers movie?
It was just like, let's not make a movie at all.
Yes, it was.
But you could make a movie.
So here's another one that Hat Malum brought up. He goes, you know what they should totally make? Mega Man. And I was like,
Ooh, no.
I know. I'm like, oh yeah, because that'll totally work. He's like, yeah, if they do it like dark. I'm like, yeah. And they totally go to like Dr. Wily's castle and Dr. Light, and then there's Rock, and then his sister Roll. Yeah, that's not corny at all. And then like the whole movie is like a progression of him killing like 10 other dudes and taking their power, so that he can then go on and fight another. Fight them all over again, and then some big rock monster, and then he gets
Rock
to Dr.
monster.
Wily. And then Dr. Wily gets away anyway. I was like, good movie. So,
No.
yeah, there's some games that, like, shouldn't be made.
Yeah,
And then
it's
really,
gameplay's good.
again, Mortal Kombat. Premise of Mortal Kombat, fighting.
Yeah.
Make a movie about that.
No, there's been a lot of movies about that, though. That could have been okay.
It was
Too
okay.
bad you will suck.
I don't think it was quite that bad.
No.
I think you're looking back on it and you're like, that movie was probably terrible.
Actually,
No,
the
it's
first
been a long
one
time ago.
was okay.
Mortal Kombat 1 was pretty decent.
2 was not. Yeah.
At this point, any game movie beyond the first one's probably crap.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
Resident
Cashing
Evil
it in.
was kind of okay.
Resident
the
Evil
second
2
one.
was pretty good.
But
It was
yeah,
okay.
It was okay.
It started to get a little like Mila Jovovich shoots everybody out.
Well, that was because Paul W.S. Anderson realizes how much of a sexy fox she is.
I
And
cannot
has to-
disagree with
yeah.
that particular statement.
I cannot disagree. So,
Mila Jovovich.
Lilu.
Lilu.
Always Lilu.
Lilu Dallas Multipass.
Right? The zombies are coming. She's like, multipass.
You know the redeeming quality of Mortal Kombat, the 90s greatest dance song ever, the Mortal Kombat song.
That is a great song.
Yes. Everyone knows that song.
Yeah.
Because it was amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
It was pretty good.
So, Yeah, I think that the issue you run into is either the game premise is so minimal that it's hard to write a movie around. Like Josh said, you get somebody that's not a fan of it, but has been told, "Hey, write a movie that matches this game a little bit, and then try and flesh it out more than the 30 seconds worth of storyline that actually is part of the game."
All right, I'll say there's a lot of really good plot lines out there that could be movies, but they
BioShock.
haven't done. BioShock would be a pretty good one.
There was a movie that's an
Halo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Halo needs to happen. I know District 9 was supposed to be, and then they kind of
I guess
salvaged
that's
it.
the question. There is where do you cut that off? Because they had Halo Forward into Dawn, which wasn't
Forward
Master
Unto
Chief,
Dawn, yes.
but was still a Halo universe
in it.
movie.
He's
They
in
had
it.
Halo
Spoilers.
Legends, which was
But did it ever make theaters?
I don't know. I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so.
So that's
So
my
is
cutoff.
that's the cutoff?
That's
Is if it's not in theaters, then
Right.
it
Can-
doesn't
not
count.
make
Right? Can
theaters.
I buy a ticket to
This-
go see it?
So like the Mega Man, they've made TV movies. I'm thinking.
Or a TV show.
It's
It
probably
was
like,
a TV show, but I'm
Yeah,
guessing
there's a lot of video games that they've made cartoons out of.
That would go well as a
Cartoon movies.
Japanese anime movie if it wasn't already.
Like
I think a
Pokemon
Mega
out
Man
there.
X
Yeah.
movie would be pretty
Mega Man
good.
X, they could make it darker, but I think it serves itself well in the Japanese style. Like it would be a good anime movie, but it would never be like. You can't make.
It can't be a blockbuster.
You can't do a Christopher Nolan dark Batman style Dark Knight Mega Man movie. You just couldn't do it. It would not go well.
Right.
The tone is not there.
Oh, who's that? It's Crashman.
Crashman.
No, it was.
Today's the day you go down.
No, it would totally have to be like you'd have to have the Inception music going on in there. Bomb.
Right.
Yeah, it just would not serve
I
itself
don't know.
well.
Okay, so another one, Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
You could do Assassin's Creed as a
Yes.
movie, or even a couple of movies.
Well, they've actually talked about having that. I thought.
the issue
Prince of
with-
Persia got very close, and that was actually a decent movie.
Yeah, separate. If you would even separate it from being in the Prince of Persia universe and just make it an action Gore Verbinski movie, that's kind of what it felt like. It was very piracy.
If you
a
took
little less gore and a little more Verinsky.
if you took Gears of War and went Gears of War 1 and 2 as a single movie,
It would work.
it would work.
Yeah, it's just make it a dumb action movie.
Right.
And it
right.
would be
It would work
perfect.
as that.
Oh, come on!
Yeah.
Right.
Put Marcus Phoenix in there and just get some beefed up dude. You could put The Rock in that.
Yeah.
And it would be perfect. Like, he could totally...
He could be Dom, or he could
Yeah.
be...
Unless he pulls a Doom again.
Oh, God. See,
See?
there's another
Yeah.
example.
That was a bad video
No.
game. The issue there, yeah, there were a lot of issues. I'm not even going to go. That was a bad video game.
Let's go first person in this part, guys. That'll definitely make a good movie.
Yeah,
Wing-
that's
Wing
where
Commander.
the fan service gets a little too
Not a
tight.
terrible.
Wing Commander was actually a pretty good movie.
Decent. My biggest complaint
Yeah,
with Wing
that's
Commander
good.
is that by the time
Freddie Prinze Jr.?
the third and fourth games were quasi live action, they were live action in front of green screen.
Yes.
And had Mark Hamill
Yeah,
and
why
John
didn't
Rhys
we have
Davies
Mark
and
Hamill
all
in
these
it?
like big name people. None of them were in the movie. And I understand the movie was supposed to be like first and second game time period, but
Yeah.
don't care. Have them show up somewhere.
Don't care. Mark
Where's the fan service?
Right?
All right, another one that would be really good. Metal Gear Solid.
Then it pretty much is a movie at this point.
I was
It's
gonna
like-
say,
that's a movie based on the game you play in between.
Hang on, though.
I think...
Didn't buy a ticket.
You did.
bought
The
it.
ticket was $60.
it's an expensive
IMAX.
ticket.
Yeah, put on them 3D goggles over
The
there.
movie only continues when you complete the little.
I gotta say, Kiefer Sutherland as Snake would be awesome, like as an old Snake or something.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, because he's getting, if he save him a few more years for him, he'll start
Right.
looking that way.
Snake Plissken. Oh, what?
Oh,
What?
What Kurt
No,
Russell?
clearly he was not based on that.
Not
No,
clearly
totally
not
different.
Kurt Russell.
No.
He didn't have an eye patch or anything. Oh, god dang it.
So other good examples: Silent Hill.
Yes,
Oh,
that was a
okay.
good movie.
Okay,
That was a
yeah.
good movie.
Yes.
And as I understand, the
haven't
game was
seen
pretty
that
freaking scary.
Yeah.
Especially, I don't.
Never played
It might have been a
Silent
little
Hill
out of order because I'm not sure if I remember right that the triangle pyramid head.
Pyramid Head.
I don't know if he was in the first game or if he was in the
Have seen
first
that.
couple
I've
games.
only played a little bit of Silent Hill. I
He
did
was
not
in
know
there,
a
but he
lot.
wasn't
Quite as major of a character as he was in the film,
right.
which I'm okay with that. It was
Yeah.
I think they did a pretty good job with Silent Hill.
Hitman, which wasn't a bad.
Actually,
It
that
was,
was-
it was okay.
That was a pretty good movie.
yeah,
was okay.
for the premise of the game being you're a hitman.
They just never click because there's so much player agency with things like that.
Well, I think what you run into is that if the game doesn't have enough of a plot, it's hard to extrapolate a plot that you'll find acceptable.
Yeah.
If the game has too much plot, the game will be better than the movie because you can play that plot. You can't play the movie you're watching.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's really hard for a video game movie to win.
It's kind of like the
because
books,
it's pretty well got the
right?
deck stacked against it.
See, how about instead of rebooting Indiana Jones, they do Uncharted?
Yes, I was just thinking that same thing.
Yeah, that...
Because then everybody would call it Indiana Jones.
Well, everybody would be pissed because...
But it's the next thing. You don't have to redo Indiana Jones.
That's
We've been
true.
talking about don't do reboots, don't do...
Yes,
nobody
just
needs it.
do-
Uncharted.
It's
It's
the
its
same
own
thing. Yeah. And the
It
only,
fills that genre.
the only problem is if people have this assumption about who should be Nathan Drake, and a lot of people are like, it should be Nathan Fillion, or it should be this, and so
It should.
Yeah, if he's not there, they would expect it. Like,
Yeah, but
should.
then he is like suddenly has so much control over.
Yeah.
Well, I want $11 billion. You know,
$1 billion. I
$11
like how you-
billion.
I like how you
He's
threw
so,
that
he's
in
so
there.
famous now. He has a unit of currency named after him.
Yes.
Castle,
Yes.
the currency.
Yes.
So there was Need for Speed, which was fucking terrible.
I didn't watch that.
I don't know. I'm sure it was. I'm sure at this point, after
sure.
like five or six,
He didn't even
Fast and
watch it.
Furious-
He's like, which was fucking terrible.
Aaron's
trailer.
home, man.
really no, but really after like
No,
5
no.
or 6 Fast and
and
Furious,
Furious.
it's not going to be any different.
Now, I would argue that if there was a game, Fast and Furious, right, that came before all that, I would say that was successful then.
Wouldn't have mattered.
They made fucking 7 of them.
Yeah.
Like there's a reason it was commercially successful.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't make
Well, a lot of
7
these were
Street Fighters.
No, Need for Speed.
could.
According to Wikipedia, Need for Speed, $186,000 box office. I'm sorry, $186 million
Oh, okay. I
box
was
office.
gonna say 186,000. Jesus Christ.
Did not make
Worse
it.
than-
Yeah, did not make back money.
Prince of Persia, $335 million.
That's
What?
fairly successful.
Wow.
Yeah,
what was
so
the
it
budget on it though? It was like $107 million.
It's $850 plus $1.50 for Jake Gyllenhaal. So actually, since I'm looking at it here, August 7th, 2015, currently slated Assassin's Creed movie.
Yes.
I told you it was coming.
Sometime in 26,
okay.
Metal Gear Solid movie.
So here's another question. Of all the directors that are out there, who would be good?
Untitled Tomb Raider reboot.
All right, of all the directors that are out there, who would be good at pulling off something like this, and who would be terrible?
Well, I think we've pretty well covered who would be terrible.
All right, other than that. Okay, so I'm going to take this back to the Mega Man. M. Night Shyamalan. Imagine this.
What the
You
trees?
get right at the end, you get to Dr. Wily, and he goes, zip, and you know, the
its
scale
tail.
falls off, and
It's
suddenly
the
it's
alien.
Dr. Light the whole time. You're like, son of a bitch!
I was thinking it's the alien that from Science.
Oh.
Bust out your Waterman blaster.
Right, you're like,
and-
Waterman. Pew pew.
Bubble. It would make sense. Bubble Man.
Bubble
Mega Man 2 reference the alien. Yes.
Signs. All right, so who would be good?
Be a good director. I don't know.
Honestly, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, it clearly depends on the
It would
movie.
depend on the movie.
Why can't I think of the director?
Neil Blomkamp probably wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah.
What he did with District 9. That was pretty
And
good.
his Halo shorts
And the
were
Halo
really
first,
good. What? Who am I? Steven Spielberg. I think he's already got some buy-in. He's actually going to be involved in the Halo project. He's
Yeah,
producing
that's true.
Halo, the TV show that they're supposed to be coming out with for Xbox TV. So I think he would be. I think he could take it and make
What about
it.
James Cameron?
His name is
You know
James,
what?
James Cameron.
You know what?
the greatest
That
pilot.
is actually a very interesting point because when you're looking for something visually stunning from like a video game, that actually would probably pull off pretty well.
You mean?
Well, I mean, visually
Avatar
stunning,
is
still-
pretty much Halo because
Yeah.
he like stole the same designs, of it,
The Hornets, and
which they
the-
stole from aliens.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's just
It's all, everybody's
from
stealing off
himself.
aliens anyway.
Yeah, I was gonna say Aliens is just such a. Oh, yeah, it's great.
I mean, even then, you're still looking at. I mean, you could, Christopher Nolan would still be a viable option depending on the movie.
Maybe some Peter Jackson.
No, we probably want to leave it at one movie, so Peter Jackson's probably out. 'Cause we don't want.
No, he can do Metal Gear.
I
He's like, what? 27 movies? Yes.
Well, I want to make this actually 30.
I like
So
this
can
too.
we
For,
just-
for one storyline, he
Yes.
makes it like a 10 epic.
Oh my god! And he would do it too.
Yeah.
It's like we definitely have to have
Finishes
a whole
the
movie
end
about
thing,
Liquid
like-
Snake. Whole movie.
Sequels like 7 and 13 are just like radio chatter for 2.5 hours.
Snake.
Otacon.
Otacon.
Like opens up on Snake and like zooms into the radio and he just starts scanning frequencies and stops periodically.
It's like a 24 episode, like boop, boop, and it like comes back and it's like 15 minutes later and he's still sitting there trying to tune. And he's like, Otacon, I can't hear you.
I can't hear you. Metal Gear. Otacon. Yeah, definitely could do that. Radio. It could be a radio play.
Right.
Yeah, I could see that. Man, I don't know. Those, I mean, like you said, honestly, Gore Verbinski could do it on like a
Yeah.
lighthearted. And I thought he was involved in. Didn't he direct Prince of Persia? Am I wrong?
Maybe.
Am I wrong?
All right.
All right.
Michael Bay, Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, no, he could do it.
Totally do
Pain
it.
and Gain. The way he did that would be perfect. That same
You know it.
style.
I mean, you'd
Grand
have to
Theft
pick
Auto.
one. You'd
Yeah.
have to pick
Yeah,
one,
yeah.
like Grand Theft Auto 5 or 4
Could
or
do
something
it.
like that. Yeah.
Car explosions and chasing and all of that, it would
Yeah.
be perfect. I mean, the problem with Grand Theft Auto is that they're already ripping off every mob movie and every
Yeah,
that's true.
every great storyline that's out there. That's pretty much with the rock star mentality. So you need something like that where it'd just be completely goofy, like a
It's
Pain and Gain.
Scorsese for Grand Theft Auto.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
that's like really highbrow though. That
Don't
would be
matter.
very. It'd be very difficult.
you get a
to pull
good
off.
you get a good scriptwriter on it.
Could do.
Think it makes
Eyes
sense.
wide, hot coffee. Oh my god!
Oh my.
Kubrick's dead, but that would
Yeah.
be awesome.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we've definitely talked this one to death. But let us know in the comments about the about what you think. Who could direct a good movie?
A video game movie.
A good
Yes.
video game movie. Well, it could be even a good movie. But let's change gears a little bit, even more.
Wait a minute. I'm going to quick interject this last point. Force Unleashed instead of Episode 7.
Thank Christ.
Would have been fucking awesome
No shit.
movie
Yes.
based on a video game.
Agreed.
Force Unleashed is why it's really, that's one of the main reasons why it's really annoying that they're like, oh, we're not including any of the extended universe shit.
Exactly.
It's like, no, you included. You included.
You do it!
You do it.
Oh,
And
the
do it
old,
like it.
Knights of the Old Republic would have been another good one.
It's true. It's good.
Anyway, let's continue. Let's move on because we could spend a whole freaking
We
episode
could
doing
spend a
this.
whole
Yeah,
episode
that's
doing
true.
it, and we kind of will probably
Oh my god!
right now.
Oh,
right now,
God.
just all right.
Skipping that third topic.
Skipping the third topic. No, the third topic this week, we're going to be talking about a dirty little thing we like to call piracy.
Yarrr.
Yarrr, piracy!
On the high sea.
So,
Yarrr.
the internet has brought this resurgence of piracy.
Downloads ahoy!
Only it's digital piracy that we're speaking about this week, not the Somali boats out in the sea that the Navy's fighting. Navy fighting them. No. So
Around
Josh,
the world?
Josh, what do you think? What do you think about?
Well, okay, so,
Current digital
so
piracy.
this is actually why I brought this topic up. Is I was thinking about it. For a long time, I was a pirate. I couldn't afford it. I didn't have any sort of money to pay for certain digital goods, and I wanted to stay on top of that thing, so I pirated.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one of the interesting things with that is that coming into more of a career and having the free money to pay for things, and how easy today it is to pay for things. I was wondering if piracy is such a problem with the ability, is it a problem because of the things that are being pirated? Are they being pirated because there's no easy way to freely pay for them? And so that's where I was coming from. And then I was starting to think about it.
You're saying like movies and TV shows now are being less pirated than perhaps they were 5 or 10 years ago because
Correct.
of how easy it is now with Amazon Instant Prime and Netflix.
Right.
People are paying for legit licenses. And like video games now with Steam sales and things like that, it's less likely that people are...
Well, and then there's a lot of steps involved in order to, like, if you wanted to say pirate a game on a console, you have to possibly flag your console for a console ban.
Yeah, right.
You know, if you have some sort of firmware update that's different, and then obviously it records all of your information, whether you play a game early, and then they have you.
Right.
Is it worth the risk? And that's I guess a different topic than what I was thinking. But what I was really focusing on is the fact that, you know, like lately I've been paying for things. I think I've paid more for music.
So, I like how excited you are.
Lately,
I've been paying for things.
Well, at the grocery even.
Just to clear the air, the rest of us have been paying for stuff for a long time.
Yeah, okay.
Forever.
Forever.
Always paying for stuff.
Yeah,
Always
definitely.
paying for
Always
stuff.
paying
So
for
go
stuff.
ahead with your elocution. With it?
Yes. But, yeah, feel
Go
free
ahead.
to, yeah. go ahead and
Allocute.
Tell everybody.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is that
Josh is like,
Okay, but go ahead.
no, that's
Yeah.
fine.
I'm not giving you shit.
Whatever.
So your point is now that
My point is that, you know, I've been a subscriber to Spotify for at least over a year now, maybe 2. I'm pretty sure it's been 2 years now that I've subscribed to Spotify. So I have streaming music. So I don't actually buy CDs, but I'm still paying that whatever premium.
you're legitimately licensing them now
Yeah.
instead of before maybe pirating the music.
Correct. I find it easier to find the song that I'm looking for, just hopping in their little search engine and finding the stuff that I want to listen to, coming up with a playlist or even a radio playlist. You know, just hit that radio button and it instantly comes up with music that would be similar to the one that I wanted to listen to.
Sure.
And it's nice. Same with TV shows. I can find new TV shows, stuff that I haven't seen yet or maybe want to see, stuff that might, based on what I've watched before, they say, hey, you might enjoy this.
Do you find the only things that you do pirate anymore are the ones that you cannot?
Can't get anywhere else. Yes. That if they legitly gave me a way of paying for them, I probably would. But because there's no legit easy way to pay for it, or it's not out yet, but it is already out, has already aired, I can't buy it.
Let's dodge the elephant in the room. Let's say Game of Thrones or any HBO content. Right, you're right. You'd have to totally get back on the bandwagon of having a cable contract, and that's silly for content.
Yes.
Just sell it
for
to me some way.
For some form of content that, you know, I'm not interested in all the other content that would come along with that. I'm interested in this one piece, and because I can't get it, they're not getting any money from me.
Yeah.
That I have a problem with that. I guess maybe is that selfish? Is that
It might be a little sense of entitlement that you might have about it, that you feel like you're entitled to watch the content, even though, you know what I mean?
I don't know that it's so much entitlement. Everybody has their own opinion as to like how much something is worth,
Yeah.
and once it falls below a certain point,
Yeah.
you know, if it's not worth paying for to you, then you'll pirate it
Yep.
because you weren't going to buy it anyway. I think that's where a lot of it. That's where access kind of have changed things. Yeah, with Netflix and Hulu and
Yeah.
Spotify and all of the radio services.
Digital
anything you
buys
can get
on Xbox.
those,
Yeah.
And
right? Anything you can get on those, you know, has probably not been pirated in forever because if you want to watch it, just pop on Netflix and watch it, or
Yeah.
pop on Hulu and watch it. It's still a bit of a minefield when it comes to available content that still requires a separate purchase. So episodes of stuff on Amazon that's not part of Prime. If you feel that there's enough value in watching that, you may pay for the episodes or pay for a season pass and watch it. If you're like, well, I probably wasn't going to watch this show anyway, but everybody says it's good, I don't really want to spend the money for it, you may still download it because it's not worth that much to you. Is it
Yeah.
the right thing to do? Not really, but currently that the cost to license it properly is more than you think it's worth,
Yeah.
and so you're not going to buy it.
There's also, I think, the devaluation of that comes from maybe the plethora of content that's out there now. We have so much more music and access to movies and media, and there's high quality shows that are coming out that are probably, you know, costing less to make. Right. So there's more of them. Like, you know, there's the filmmakers are able to make movies for cheaper now. So they're able to produce more content. I guess produce more content.
And the other thing that comes up is what you've done is you've taken what is essentially almost an infinite good and attempted to attach a cost to it. Because with like an MP3, there are infinite copies of that MP3. So if you charge $5 for it, you're only going to sell so many. If you charge $1 for it, you will probably sell more. But will your revenue be different? I mean, will you sell more? Will you sell enough more at $1 to make up for what you would have sold the small handful at $5?
Will you make it up with volume?
Right. Will you make it up with volume?
Yeah.
What's the cutoff where you start to pull in people?
Supply and demand, yeah.
And that's where I think you could get a lot of feedback from websites like, what is it, All of MP3 and some of the Russian hosted sites that charge you per meg. That are like, it's 10 cents or
It's
$1
really just
per
file
meg.
hosting.
That's really just file hosting because they know it doesn't matter what you download. It only costs so much to store it, so they're charging you the storage cost. So if you were able to find out per song if it cost you 10 or 15 cents per song, maybe that's a route you go. Would they sell more? Probably, because I know there are albums that I've bought that I just saw on the shelf that were $3, and I'm like, I kind of like that genre of music. It's a compilation album. Bought it because it was $3. If it sucks, I'm out $3. Who cares?
Right.
If the songs were 10 cents, if an album cost $1.50, okay. If it sucks, I lost $1.50. Who cares?
Sort of smartphone app mentality. Once
Right.
it gets below a certain point, people think it's whimsical. It's
Right.
It's an impulsive buy.
Right. It's not even
to
a cost you think about because there is so little value involved. If you wasted your money, who cares? It wasn't that much money to begin with. It's, I bought a pack of gum. A pack of gum is probably more expensive than what you'd pay for a song.
Yeah.
And you're done with that in 5 sticks.
Do you think we get a less quality material because of that? Do you think music at least maybe has declined because the devaluation of that?
It depends on your tastes.
Yeah.
And kinda no.
Yeah.
Because the fact that the tools exist to allow anybody to make music, to make movies, to make anything.
We've almost had a proliferation
Right.
of
Yes,
music
there's
available.
a glut of terrible content because everybody thinks they can do it. And not everybody can do it. So yeah, you're going to have probably a majority be not very good. But there will still be a much higher percentage of people that are good that are still fall into the, they don't cost a whole lot, or it's still fairly inexpensive to buy an album to listen to, or hell, they even put it up for free because what they want is the exposure to get you to come to a concert where they make their money. So
Was it the same with, like, say, app developers, where, like, the ecosystem for, say, either Google or Android or iOS, you still have, like, a crap ton. They'll advertise, we have all of these millions or 100,000s of apps and whatnot.
right, and there are
But,
75 versions of Crappy Bird.
Yeah, exactly. But they're all like, of all those, I think I probably have maybe like the 10, maybe top 20 apps. And everything else is shit. And like all those apps that I do like, they're interdependent of iOS or Google. Like they'll just be both.
Right.
They've got a copy for each one. All 3 systems have it.
And some of that, like I said, some of that comes back to taste.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're looking for a crossword puzzle app, even if it's not in the top 20, you'll find a crossword puzzle app that you like.
Yep.
And if it's really good, either you'll shell out the $1 or $2 for it, or you'll just take the free one and say, hey, that's good enough for me because it's a crossword puzzle. As far as music goes, if you have really odd-ass tastes, if you like, bluegrass hip-hop, somebody out there makes it. You just got to find it. It may not be mainstream, but if you can find it and you really like it, chances are you'll either, pay what the cost of it is, or try and find a place that you can stream it. So at least they get some form of revenue from it.
The other one I think is kind of an interesting point is when Android phones came out, at first, part of the draw was that you could sort of sideload anything. So you could pirate your apps, you could pirate a shitload of stuff, and load it on the phone for free. And you really couldn't do that on the iOS side because you had to go through the App Store for everything. So you couldn't sideload anything. Even if you jailbroke your iPhone, you weren't getting stuff for free because you had to go through the Apple iStore to get it.
Yeah.
It's been years since I've even heard that listed as a benefit of Android, and maybe that speaks to your thing now that because it's because the market has changed, people don't view that as really a benefit anymore because they're legitimately paying for it.
That could be, yeah. I don't know. Sideloading, it's still, for those that want to test something and it's not on the marketplace store because it's still going through those kinds of restrictions or whatever that they have to do in order to post something, then yeah, they might have it that way. Or hey, you know, we only want our paid people to get access to it, so we're going to email it to you, and you have like an email address or something like that.
I just mean,
But I know what
people
you meant.
saying, "Ooh, I went Android because I can, pirate the shit out of all these free apps." You
Would
never,
I ever do it?
No.
I honestly, I heard that like right at the beginning. I don't hear that really anymore.
No.
Because for the most part, any app that gets really big, somebody will either come out with a free version or come out with a cheaper version that mimics most of the same.
Crappy Bird.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Crappy Bird. So the instant Crappy Bird costs $1. Someone will come out with Slappy Bird that is the exact same damn thing for 50 cents. And
Can we
then
just
someone
go
will
with
come out
Happy Bird?
with Bird with like the big cracked lips, and they'll call it Chappy Bird. It'll be free.
And then there's
And
like
then-
the creepy dad figure, and then it's Pappy Bird.
So
Right. I mean, look, right here, we've just made 5 new applications. All of them can be free.
And then they come back with those quick whips, and it's Snappy Bird.
Oh,
damn.
Wow.
and then you reach out and hit people with it, and it's Slappy Bird.
Oh, slap.
Tap, tap, Tappy Bird. All right. So, yeah, I don't know. I think
I guess
you're right that the availability of how to get the stuff that you really want, like Steam Sale, right, has
Yeah.
pretty much made PC piracy, PC game piracy,
It's very
all but
limited.
obsolete.
Yep.
I really don't know very many people that. The only thing I still see are like the super expensive software stuff, so like an Adobe Suite or
Yeah.
something like that. I
anything
see
that's going to
people-
be like
thousands
yeah,
of
thousands
dollars. Right.
And a lot of times, like if you have a student ID, you can get for half price
Well,
or
requires a student ID.
75% off or whatever, that kind of stuff.
And I don't
if
think-
that's what you want to do.
Right.
I don't think Adobe fights that much either because they want people to get
It
used
is
to
a
Photoshop.
Photoshop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I said, the idea is that they get used to using Photoshop, pirated copy, and then when they go out in the professional
They
world,
gotta
well,
use
I
it.
only know how to use Photoshop, so now my company has to buy a
buy it,
copy.
so
of
they're
And the
getting the
company is
license.
audited, so
Yeah,
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 you're going to be buying
yeah,
that.
they'll be
Same
buying
with
license.
Autodesk. And
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You can't
Yep.
go into a company and be like, listen, I'm really good with GIMP and it's free, so hey, we should totally get that. They're gonna be like,
What
what?
the hell's GIMP?
What the hell is GIMP? Get you, sir, get that.
They're like, bring out the GIMP.
we are equal opportunity.
Yes.
Yeah.
I guess I mean, I know it still affects people. There's a lot of those that are still in those leadership positions within those areas with like Recording Industry of America, Motion Picture Association of America, and they're all really anti-piracy. They really want to come down hard on all these pirates, and I guess I just in the digital age now, is it worth alienating people today?
The problem is if the stronger their case is, if the stronger the case is to make it available.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like
It
the
blows
Game
up
of
in their
Thrones,
face.
the Game of Thrones argument is the biggest one because it's the largest pirated
Yeah.
thing right now.
Right.
Why wouldn't they
I don't
open up
know.
another revenue stream?
I don't get it.
I don't understand it.
No, it
Unless they have some sort of contract with the cable company.
Could be.
That must be how that works.
I'm guessing that's the only thing.
But to me, they're missing out on a revenue stream that even if they had a contract with the cable company, give them a share of it or something.
Comcast or Time Warner and all those must be just paying out the ass to keep Game of Thrones on there.
I don't know.
To a certain extent, the RAA and the MPAA are going to be more interested in losing that revenue stream because that revenue, they are kind of a middleman between musicians and people.
Yeah, I know.
So the revenue comes to them first, and then they're like, oh, well, here, we'll go ahead and pay you your royalty,
stipend,
or
your
your
musician,
stipend, or your cut
which
of
is
it, which
so
may or may not
small.
be.
Oh
Yeah,
my god,
next
yeah,
to
it's
nothing.
pretty much for free anyway.
Assuming you even get it in the first place, because they apparently, thanks to Hollywood accounting, they can't keep track of either how much the money cost or
Yeah.
they hired their own internal production company that charges them $11 billion. So yeah, they're far more interested in
It's in the shape.
eliminating, or far more interested in keeping that revenue stream alive than
Of
bands
course.
who.
Because the moment that like you circumvent those,
Right.
I mean, you become good enough to become your own
Right.
marketing group or whatever. Like Metallica did it. They got out of their, I think
The
it was
contract.
Atlantic or Columbia. I can't
And then
remember.
they started
whatever.
making crazy amount of money.
Yeah, because they
Like,
cut out the middle.
Trent Reznor.
Yep.
Like
Yeah,
releases
Reznor had the
most
same
of his
problem.
own stuff.
There's some other other bands that had that same problem.
Radio
30
Day
Seconds to Mars had the
did
same
that.
problem.
They broke their contract
Mhm.
and then
Yeah.
went out and said, "Hey, pay what
So
you want for their album." They made more on that than they did in the entire.
Yeah, so it's. I mean, it sucks that
catalog.
not everybody can do it,
I know.
but you've got places like is Bandstand, I think, is like a website that you can release your own CDs or like put them up for sale and stuff like that.
Yeah, I believe so.
There's
While you're
like
thinking
Kickstarter
about
for
that,
yeah.
Nine Inch Nails is an interesting example because, like, when he released the Slip, the base album was free. He said he didn't even want anything. If you wanted to donate, okay, but it's free.
Mm-hmm.
If you want the higher quality one, it was like a $10 download from the website. If you wanted the super high quality and all the tracks from it, like everything separated for every...
Oh, so if you wanted to import and remix and do all the fun stuff to it.
Yes, then it was like $300 or something like that. But he had all that stuff there for you. You could remix it however you want. He had every track he used to make the music, and once you bought it, you could use it, you know, and redo your own stuff. And apparently he made a crap load on both of those. Like the one that was 300 and...
The one that was $10 or whatever.
Yeah, the $10 one, he made a crap load on that, and the one that was the high end tracks, he made enough, but it was sort of a big thing.
Right, and stuff like that you end up with. It's kind of like Kickstarter, where there are tiers and you add special stuff to different tiers. So yeah, higher bit rate. Maybe you get an LP copy in addition to the downloadable copy. You get some sort of signed memorabilia on top of the digital copy. So yeah, I mean,
That's
even
cool.
Kickstarter for bands. I mean, if you've got Kickstarter, kind of requires a little bit of a following,
Yeah.
so people know who you are.
Yeah.
But you can still go on there and be like, look, we're going to put together an album, but we'd like to pay for it all up front so that when it's done, we can take everything and put it into the next album. And if you get enough people that like your band or get enough word of mouth that says, hey, this is totally worth it, you've got your album paid for.
There's another site called Patreon or whatever. It's like a Patreon, but then you can. There's two different types of things. You can be like somebody who supports people, and then there's another one that's and it's however the artist wants to set up, and it's usually either comics or there's musicians on there. All kinds of other things, web comics, and they can set it up where you're either charged. You can be charged however many they it's like a certain amount of dollar amount or whatever. Every time they upload something, you could get charged, or for some it's like a monthly stipend type thing, and then people can pledge on there.
Right, so you subscribe to them and say, I subscribe X amount of dollars.
Right,
per
so like
release or
my
per month
favorite
or
web
whatever.
comic's on there, and he's up to like I think eight grand a month just from that alone. So it's crazy.
It's enough to live off of.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So it seems like there are a lot of outlets to get things out there to not, you have to rely on, exact amount of sales. So it seems like that availability is going up because there are so many different routes to get there that, we should start a band, is what I'm saying.
Yes.
I know a guy that plays some pretty mean bass.
Yeah. Some bass.
Yeah.
Some
Slap
Does
the
he,
bass.
does he slap some
I
bass?
think he does slap the bass. I think the rest we could probably do something like Mighty Mighty Boss Tones. You play all the music, and we'll just dance around like assholes.
Oh, okay, we could do that.
Just give me maracas, and I'm good.
All right.
I won't even do it to a beat.
Right.
You're
So
You're like,
shake it.
shh, and then I smack you, and you're like, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes.
Paint my face with all kinds of crazy war paint.
Oh, man.
And just look like Bono and go.
And make funny faces on a
Yeah,
radio
that's
podcast.
strange.
Radio podcast.
Radio podcast.
Yeah, we're broadcasting now. All right, guys. I think we talked this one to death.
Ryan's computer across the way.
Broadcasting live. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up for this week. Had some interesting conversation. If you guys got any thoughts, be sure to leave comments. Remember to check us out on YouTube if you're listening to us on iTunes, which you probably are. That's youtube.com/fairlyawesomepodcast. Also, come over and like us on Facebook if you haven't already. It's facebook.com/fairlyawesomepodcast. And we are also on the Twitters, and that's at FAPcast. I am Nate Bushing, and we'll see you guys soon.
Sorry.
All right,
Lord.
you guys ready to rock and roll?
Got your.
We're gonna start with the multiplayer, go into the games or game movies, and then gay movies. We're
gonna go to gay movies.
because we know Ryan loves the gay movies. And then
So up next is gay movies. Ryan, you want to tell us more about that one?
I was gonna say something about waiting for like the Kirby gay porn video game movie. The dude sucks.